nice and comfortable back on your backs. Take just a few moments to just kind of settle in. Let your back settle into the floor. Maybe your legs are long, or maybe you have bent knees. Whatever you feel most comfortable with is a great place to start today. Let the body start to feel heavy as it sinks down towards the earth beneath you. Letting a couple big, soothing breaths come in and out of the body just to make some quiet reflection, bring some attention to things. So today's yoga practice, the intention we're going to set behind it, or one that I'm going to suggest to you, is an idea of playfulness. Today's opening quote says, "When you're following your energy and doing what you want all the time, the distinction between work and play dissolves." If we're lucky, we have work that's fulfilling and meaningful. We know people who tell us that they can't wait to go to work each morning and the hours just fly by. Not all of us have work that feels significant, but we can find ways to make our work more meaningful, no matter how humble or routine it is. What can we do that will benefit our coworkers? How can we do our job in a way so that it challenges us in some way? It's up to me to make my work satisfying. If I think it's impossible, what do I need to do to find work that will mean more to me? So whether that work is an occupation, a job, or that work is just the day-to-day tasks that take you through your life, what can you do to make it feel playful, inviting? Let's do the work today of this physical yoga practice, but let's not forget to play. Explore the postures, find the little nooks and crannies within our body that invite in a sense of playfulness. So as you lay here on the earth, start to play with the muscles of your face. Perhaps you scrunch your eyes or your nose. You open your mouth wide and then close it. You start to kind of move through some faces that feel silly. Let the muscles of your face get a nice stretch. Start to let your head sway a little bit right and left on the mat. Opening up the neck and the shoulders. Lift your hands up off the ground, let them stretch up towards the ceiling, and roll the wrists, open and close the hands, bend the elbows, let the arms feel loose and fluid. Bring those arms back down, let them move towards your side body. If your legs have been long, start to bend the knees and walk the feet up the mat. Lift the feet and the legs up towards the sky. Do the same thing. Point and flex the toes, roll the ankles, maybe even ride an imaginary bicycle in the air. Be playful with the movement of your legs. Let them have a little fluidity, a little bit of easy movement. And then I want you to take your feet together, still lifted in the air. Let your heels touch one another, your toes turn out, and bend your knees down towards your body. Exhale, press these feet straight back up towards the sky. 2 more like that. So you'll inhale, knees pull outward towards the edges of the mat. Exhale, push the feet back up. Inhale, knees down. Exhale, press them away. Last one, inhale, knees come down, a little bit of lower abdominal warm up. Exhale, send it out. Beautiful, toes come in, heels turn out, and just Hang here for a moment. So you're pushing through the heels, the toes may be touching. Now bring those heels back in towards one another and just hug the knees to the chest. You might have opened up a little bit of movement in the hip flexor, the outer hips in that shape. Or just rock around here on your low back just for a moment. Playfulness coming into today's practice will happen in kind of some unique ways to play with our sun salutations. So the hands coming around the back edges of the legs, or even onto your shins. Start some playful rocking on your back. So kind of a forward and back rocking motion maybe, or side to side. Maybe you rock all the way up to your seat and then roll all the way back. The next time you're up to your seat, we'll go ahead and pause there. Just take yourself into a crisscross. Blocks, if they're handy, can go on the sides of you if you'd like. And just find a nice tall spine. Get the sits bones out from underneath of you. Trying to find good north-south length of the spine. And just breathe. Right ear takes its time to move towards your right shoulder. Inhale, breath, head comes back up over spine. Exhale, left ear towards left shoulder. Back up over spine. One more time, right ear towards right shoulder. Back up over spine, opposite side. Head comes back up over spine, chin falls down towards chest. Let it easy rock right and left. Perfect. When you feel ready, these fingertips are just going to start to reach up towards the sky. Look up. Exhale, bring the hands down to your heart. Transitioning into a tabletop pose, however feels best to you. Maybe rolling over those knees or sending them around side. Wrists come underneath shoulders, knees go underneath hips, and you're just going to take some time and rock this easy side to side. And then a couple cat-cows, belly dropping down towards the mat on your inhale breath. Exhale will round your back, round your spine. Two more just like that, belly dropping. And then back rounding. Belly dropping. Back rounding. Next time you get to that angry cat, go ahead and sit the hips all the way back towards your heels. Take your first child's pose of today's practice. Hands are going to start to walk to the right edge of your mat. Maybe they go all the way off onto the hard floor on that right side. Or maybe you just stack right hand right on the right edge, and then you take your left hand and put it on top of the right hand. This is about side body opening, so just take your time. Letting go of what feels like work. Find a little ease, find a little playfulness in the pose as the hands start to walk back towards center and then over towards this left edge of the mat. Same as before. Maybe your hands go all the way off onto the floor on that left side of the mat, or perhaps you stack one hand on top of the other. Just see where you are. See what you can open down the side body. Take your time. Hands start to walk back towards the center of the mat when you feel ready. And then we'll bring ourselves back up for that same table shape. Right hand's gonna extend straight forward out in front of you. Left leg long behind, take that bird dog pose. Gaze is just a few inches out in front of this hand that's on the earth. So we're not kinking our neck straight forward. See if you can relax it so that you're a nice long line from fingertips to toes. Get another nice round of breath. Hand comes down to earth, lifted legs, just gonna step over to the opposite side of the mat. So if you have left leg long, you're gonna step to the right edge. Look over that right shoulder, get a nice C-curve stretch of the outer edges. And then we'll bring this foot back towards the middle of the mat. Push through the heel. Give yourself a big calf stretch. One breath. All right, next time you exhale, just see if you can take this long leg that's behind you. So if it's your left leg, you're just gonna step it all the way through up towards your hands and put yourself into a nice low lunge. Always knowing blocks are welcome. If you wanna bring those into the mat here, they are welcome. But hands can also just be kind of positioned comfortably on either side of the feet or the foot, front foot. Inhale, breath, take your time, walk up this front knee. And then let the hands come up and look for the sky. Another easy round of breath. Beautiful. Hands come back down, let them find blocks or the mat. Just hold here for another breath. Maybe pull the chest through a little more this time. Lift the head slightly away from your chest. Chin is not a necklace, so don't let it hang there on your chest. All right, beautiful work. If you're using blocks, you want to keep those, you certainly can just flip those onto their lowest side. If you're not using blocks, no worries. Curl the toes under on this back foot, and we're just gonna take front all the way to back, and you're in your first down dog. So take your time to kind of walk that out. We're gonna do everything again on the other side. So if you wanna leave a blanket or a towel in place as a little position for the knees, we're going back down here in just a moment. But walk out that dog. Lift and lower from the heels. That dog have a little bit of space. And then knees will drop back down to mat. This time, the left leg is, or the right leg rather, is long behind you, or the opposite leg. Start looking for bird dog on the other side. So left hand extends, right leg extends. Your gaze is slightly out in front of that hand that's on the earth. Remember, you're making a nice long spine. Just hold, zip up that core. Stay strong through the middle. Continue to breathe. Hand comes down to mat. Take the lifted leg, step it all the way over to the opposite edge of the mat. Look over that shoulder, big C-curve stretch of the spine, getting a little bit into that outer hip. Perfect. Foot takes its time, comes back towards the middle of the mat. Curl the toes under like you did before and just push through that heel. One breath in that calf stretch. And then when you feel ready, that foot comes all the way through the middle, steps up to the front of your mat, and you're in a low lunge on the other side, just as you did before. So you're giving yourself an opportunity to really get into those hip flexors for a moment. Walking up this front knee. Hands going up when you feel ready. Gaze up, 2 breaths. Perfect. Hands start to slowly look back for the floor. Hold here, pulling the chest through the middle like we did before. Head comes away from the chest. It's not a necklace. Flip the blocks perhaps, or place the hands on the earth. You're going to your downward dog again. So if you are using blocks, make sure your hands move back to the far edge of the block to kind of get into a position where when we push on those blocks, they stay still. They're like an anchor holding themselves in place on your mat. If they're sliding underneath of you, it's either because of the weight you're pushing into the blocks is not even, or you've just got a mat that doesn't like blocks, which sometimes can happen too. All right, my friends, when you feel ready, small steps with your feet, start walking forward towards your hands. If you have blocks in place there, feel free to use those, maybe for a half lift. Get that spine nice and long, pointed through the crown of the head, straight forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, plant the feet, reach the hands all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. Half sun salutation, nice and traditional. Inhale it up. Exhale, fold it forward. Maybe a half lift feels good here, long spine. Exhale, fold. Plant the feet, big inhale, hands reach up, look up. Exhale, hands to heart. All right, adding on this time, inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, come into a squat. Knees together. Feel free to use the blocks on either sides of the hands there just to kind of support you if you need it. Next natural inhale brings hips up to the sky, head hangs down. Exhale, breath. Inhale brings us the rest of the way up to standing. Big breath. Hands move to heart. Let's do it again, a little faster. Inhale up. Exhale, fold. Half lift, inhale up. Exhale, fold. Bring yourself to squat. Hold for a breath. Next inhale brings hips to the sky. Exhale in that forward fold. Inhale it all the way to standing. Hands come down and find the heart. Adding a little rock this time. Inhale up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, fold. Drop to the squat. Hold for a breath. Hands reach behind the hips. You're going to drop your seat. Roll backwards on your mat. And then back up to your seat. See if you can put it back in that little squat. Yes, you can do it. Or you can laugh on your way there. All right, inhale, lift the hips. Exhale, release the breath. Inhale, come to standing. Hands come to the heart. All right, another variation. All right, if you know that you need kind of a blanket or something for knees, you're going to step your sun salutation one step behind your blanket so that you've got it right there in front of you. You're going to inhale, breath is up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, fold. Now where we usually go to squat, you're going to take your hands forward and drop your knees to the earth. Inhale, reach the hands up. Exhale, bring the hands back to earth. Lift onto your toes, hips lift up to that forward fold. Exhale, breath. Next natural inhale brings you all the way up to standing. Hands come to heart. All right, let's try that one more time. Inhale up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, fold. Knees drop to ground. Inhale the high knees. Exhale, hands go back to earth. Keep the toes curled under, lift your hips. Inhale, breath. Exhale, hang and fold. Inhale all the way to standing. Exhale, hands to heart. Round in a mountain pose. Good work. Spine is tall, nice north-south direction with the spine. Last big breath. All right, good. Enough knee play. So if you've been having a blanket on your mat, you can move it over to the side. We're going to step back up here towards the front of the mat. Right foot's going to step long behind us. We're going to go ahead and turn that right foot so it's all the way parallel with the back of your mat and start looking for warrior two. So a pretty common stance here, something you're comfortable with. Front knee gets a decent bend, arms reach out nice and long, gaze over that front hand, just feel like a strong warrior. I want you to pay attention real quick to your torso. If you feel like your torso is being pulled towards this front knee, see if you can stand that torso up and keep it nice and centered. Then reach the arms out. If it doesn't feel like enough of a challenge, maybe your feet need to be a little further apart. Yes. All right, now take that front hand, flip it towards the sky, and then lift it as we lean backwards. Try to combine those two words. Perfect. Top hand starts to move forward. Just take a side angle. It can rest on the knee, or you've got a block handy maybe today. You might choose to use that to put into position down closer to the floor. Fingertips are pointing straight forward. Knee still has a bend. Don't forget to keep a bend in that front knee. Good. Bring it back up to warrior two. Dance for me one more time. Flip and reverse. And then back through to your side angle. Back up to warrior two, straighten front knee, start looking for triangle. Now my stance is a little wide for my triangle, so I'm gonna walk my feet in a little closer. Long arms, reach forward towards that front foot, tip, and turn it into triangle pose. Maybe you've got the block still there today, so you choose to place it down right on the inside of that ankle. Top hand is lifted. Keep whatever design might be on your t-shirt shining straight into the middle of the room. Don't allow this chest to collapse. See if you can open up from that side wall. Good work. Big inhale, bring that up. Give it a little reverse triangle. So front knee straightens again, and we just lean away. Good. Back to an easy warrior two. Soft bend in that knee. And then inhale, arms come up, knee straightens. Exhale, take it back. Two more. Last one. Playful cartwheel towards the front of your mat. Front foot steps to the back. Let's find our first plank today. Maybe plank for you today feels best to put your knees on the ground. Maybe you're feeling some strength, so you decide to stay nice and long with those legs straight back the mat. Thinking about the middle of those shoulder blades, getting just a slight pull up towards the sky. Be engaged through the core. Exhale, breath. Lower. Knees probably kiss the mat as we come to the ground. Give yourself 3 cobras to really warm up that low back. So take your time. Even though we're flowing, doesn't mean it has to be rushed. It's connected with your breath. And some days we feel like moving a little faster, and some days we don't. And sometimes I say to do something 3 times, and it only feels good to do it once. You are the guide for this practice. Walk your hands back, even with about the breastbone. Curl the toes under, start to push to knees. Keep those elbows really close, and then take it up to downward facing dog. A nice modified version to bring ourselves up from the floor, keeps control in the arms and in the core, and doesn't let all that weight shift into your low back. Take your time, small steps or a large leap. Feet move up to your hands. Half lift again. Exhale it down. Plant those feet strong. Big inhale, reach up. Settle into a mountain pose. Close the eyes. Grab a nice breath that gets the spine nice and tall. North-south spine. Let it lift. All right, as the body feels ready, left foot this time steps back. We start looking for warrior two again. The same sequence we were playing with before. We've got a decent bend in that front knee. Our arms are extended nice and wide. And then just start to play. Remember that your torso, we shouldn't be leaning over this front knee when we're in warrior two. We'd like to keep that torso right, grounded down through the middle. Gaze goes over those front fingers and you dance. The first one's nice and slow. So flip, lean away, and hold. You start looking for your side angle. Maybe the elbow rests on the knee. Maybe you reach for a block. Fingertips are turned so that they can point straight forward up your mat. Whatever design is on your t-shirt is off there to the side, that shoulder, top shoulder. It's trying its best to stay stacked. Inhale, breath, bring it back up, and then take this one a little faster. Dance on through. And maybe you feel a little stronger on one side than the other. Maybe you feel a little more comfortable in the balance. That's okay. Bring it back to warrior two. Start thinking about your triangle. See what little changes you maybe need to make to your stance as you lean forward over that front leg. Hands may come down to the floor or a block as you look for your triangle stance. Maybe your hand just rests on your shin. Block can be on the inside or outside edge, whichever feels the most appropriate challenge for you today. Pay attention to how your neck feels. If it's feeling crimped, cramped up, tight, tense, see what you can do to add a little bit of ease back to it. And then inhale, breath starts to bring us back up. Give it a reverse triangle. So that means we straighten that front knee, lean away, settle back into warrior two, and then you'll just lift and lower like we did before. Your inhale breath straightens knees, hands go up, exhale it back down. Two more. Take your time, make sure you're breathing. Watch that torso. It doesn't want to lean out over that knee. Beautiful. Next time you're ready, back into that warrior, start to take a playful cartwheel. Hands move forward. Vinyasa of choice this time, or you can skip it and just go to down dog. If you choose to move from a full plank, your knees are available as you move down towards the ground. Or you can take Chaturanga Dandasana, where you move right into an upward facing dog, back into your down dog. Whatever version of vinyasa is where your comfort level is, works for me. One more breath and your down dog of choice. Maybe your feet are a little further apart. Maybe you're lifting and lowering up on your toes or walking it out. And then just take your time. Move those feet forward towards your hands. Hang in a forward fold. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach the hands as high as they can go. Exhale, hands to heart. Center in a nice mountain pose. Staying steady with that breath. Letting it be fluid in the body. One more round of breath. All right, as you feel ready, hands will reach up nice and tall. We'll exhale, hinge and fold down towards the earth. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, drop down. Step the right foot towards the back of your mat. Go ahead and drop the right knee down into the ground. And move both hands to the inside edge of this front foot, either looking for what might be called lizard, sometimes called spider. But today we're going to take something just slightly different. So you've got your left foot forward, right foot is back. You're going to keep your right hand on the ground, lift your left hand up, and just let it reach up towards the sky. Maybe even bicep towards ear, reaching over that left shoulder. Take the hand that's in the air, let it do a slight back stroke so it points behind you. Option to bend this back knee if your hand can make connection with the top of that foot for a big hamstring or any quadricep stretch, you're welcome to, but it's okay to just let it kind of point behind you as well. If you've been holding that foot, let it slowly come out and you'll take the hands back down to the ground. Perfect. Let this front foot come back. Sit into child's pose, take the hands back towards your feet, flip them to the sky, and catch yourself 3 easy breaths right there. Staying in that shape, releasing the tension hiding in your low back. Inhale, breath, start to come back up, weight into the hands, back to downward facing dog, hips lift high, hold that down dog, 2 breaths. Playing with kind of ballerina toes, lifting up onto the toes, heels come high from the earth, and then settle those back. Knees probably bend on your way back down towards earth. Small steps, or maybe you're ready to bend the knees, take a quick peek up towards your fingertips, and hop your way up to the front of the mat. Lifting only when the spine feels ready for it. A big, straight, long spine. Exhale, fold. Plant those feet. Inhale, reach it up. Settle into your mountain pose on your exhale. Eyes closed. Find a breath. Repeating everything on the other side. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, fold. Right foot stepping back this time. Right knee is going to drop to the ground. Now this front foot, it's okay for it to be kind of tucked underneath of us with a big bend in this knee since we have the back knee on the ground, but if we can get it a little bit more out and front, you might look for that. If you need positioning of a block or a blanket or something near you, feel free to reach for those things. Hands are on the inside edge. Remember, just as we did before, taking that lizard shape. I'm on the same leg. Are you on the same leg? Hugh, you're wrong.
Opposite. No.
Okay, is everybody on an opposite leg?
I did.
I'm not. I'm on the same leg. If you're not on the wrong right leg, switch.
I started on that.
Okay, you started on that. I don't know which one I'm doing now. Hopefully your arms felt okay then when you were reaching up from the ground. Oh well, if not, you invented a new pose on the other side. Congratulations, nice and playful. Okay, so what I was going for was that this front foot is on the ground and the opposite hand is on the ground. So the same foot that's forward, that hand would lift up. If you didn't do that on the other side, that's okay. Bring the bicep down towards your ear, let it reach up over and long. So it kind of gives you a little bit more stability because you've got front foot and outside hand. Now if you want to bend the back knee and reach back, maybe for that big quad stretch, fine. That makes sense because I saw a couple of you switch hands when you were trying to reach for that foot, so that was why. Poor cueing on my part, it happens. Unfortunately, when you try to mirror, eventually your brain doesn't like mirroring anymore. Hands come down, let them look for the earth. Curl the toes under on this back foot, and you're ready. Step it back. This time, let's go straight to down dog. Lift the hips up. Walk those hips out. Walk the knees out. Maybe even widen the feet as wide as your mat. Rock it a little bit right and left. All right, feet start to come back towards the middle of the mat. This time, bear walk hands to the back of your mat. So walk those hands backwards, like you're walking out of a plank pose. Inhale, bring yourself up halfway, long spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach the hands as high as they can go. Add a cactus this time, just for a good heart opener. Arms come in front of the face. Let them stay in 2 nice 90-degree angles and just hold them right there. Testing a little bit of balance. You'll keep your right arm in position. Left arm will come back. Hand is going to move and set itself right here at your hip. All right. The hand that is on your hip, you're going to invite that knee to lift up. So you're kind of crossing the midline. You've got one knee lifted, opposite arm is at 90 degrees. You're going to take this lifted hand and invite it to the outer edge of this lifted knee. Chest can stay forward, or if you feel okay, start to initiate a little twist, turning towards that lifted leg. If the hand on the hip wants to reach behind you and extend with a long arm, feel free. One more breath. Ease your way out. Back to earth. Widen the feet as wide as the mat. Take a big ragdoll pose. Arms come down. Release it. Big side to side rock. Big bend in the knees. And then from right here, drop hands down towards the earth. Turn your heels in. Drop the seat down towards the earth. Wide knee squat just for a couple breaths. Perfect. Next natural inhale lifts the hips high. Walk the feet back in a little closer. Half lift. Fold. Reach the hands as high as they can go. Add the cactus shape again. Heart opener. Elbows come right in front of the face, staying in 290s. Opposite arm stays up. Opposite hand shifts back towards that hip. And then we'll root through our opposite foot and lift the other knee. So the arm that's bent, that's the leg you're standing on. Hand that's in the sky starts to invite itself to the outer edge of that front knee. Maybe you start to twist the torso so it turns towards that hip. Hand on the hip might extend long behind, pointing the palm straight out to the side. Unwind. Bring your feet down. Separate them wide. Rock a little bit in the hips. Roll them in a circle. And then take that big ragdoll again. This time, perhaps you fish hook your toes. Maybe that would feel nice. 2 peace signs. Go between first and second toes. Head hangs heavy through the middle. It's a decent shake, yes and no. Maybe you play with a half lift or two, holding on to those toes. Or perhaps just a classic ragdoll is more your space today, or your style. Hands drop down to the ground, heels turn in, 3 breaths in that same squat. This time it might have a little more playfulness. Maybe you kind of rock around on your feet. Maybe your hands kind of move around on the earth. I know some like a twist, putting some gentle pressure with the inside of that knee to the elbow as they twist and lift the opposite hand up. Inhale, breath, hips lift high. You're back to center, hips are lifted high. Walk those feet back in underneath of you. Exhale, release the chest down towards the top of your thighs. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach the hands as high as they can go. Exhale out to that cactus again. Hands come in front of the face. 290s. And then you're just going to do a little shoulder work. So with feet grounded, hands are right here. We're just going to exhale and sweep them down along the sides of the body, a little pinch of the upper back, and then bring them back up. Maybe try closing the eyes, testing a little bit of balance through the ankles of the feet. Fingers can be in blades or fists, whatever feels best in your body. One more. Next time those hands swing back, forward, and up, we'll go ahead and shoot them straight up to the ceiling, lace them together, Lean right, center, lean left, center, and then fold your way down to the earth. Hands are gonna walk up the mat until you're in a plank pose. Knees drop to earth if you need. And then we're gonna lower to the belly and stay there for a few moments. So take your time, get the belly down into the mat. Reverse Savasana, 3 breaths. Bring the arms forward towards the top of the mat. Maybe even make yourself a little pillow, resting the forehead on your hands. You can stay long here, tops of the feet flat to the mat, toes pointed. Or you might choose to bend the knees, flex the feet, rock it a little bit right and left. All right, beautiful work. Toes come back down towards the ground. Arms are going to move into a position where they start to resemble Sphinx pose. So the elbows are bent on the mat. Arms perhaps are pointed in 2 straight lines up the mat. Now your Sphinx can be as high or as low as you'd like. If your low back is achy this morning, maybe your hands are out further in front and your Sphinx is baby. If it feels good to have those walked all the way in towards the body and you got nice big 90s, the glued pelvis into the earth, that might be where your Sphinx is, or somewhere in between. The inhale breath lifts the chin slightly. Exhale breath brings the chin down towards the chest. You start to feel just minimal lift through the pelvis and the belly up off the earth. Just play with that a couple rounds. If your abdominals don't feel awake, they don't feel like they're getting enough challenge, you might start to notice that the tops of your feet become more active and your knees feel really light. Almost like we're trying to lift our legs up off the ground when the chin comes into chest. You certainly can take that challenge and lift the hips as your chin comes down if you need additional abdominal challenge. We just want them to feel awake. This is pretty sneaky core work. Something that doesn't always feel like core work until maybe tomorrow. But why are my top abdominals so sore? Oh yeah, Sphinx. One more easy breath. Walk those hands back out in front. Take your time, come out of that Sphinx pose. Maybe rest here, long arms, or go back to that pillow. One more breath, just with a nice long body. And then we're going to walk the hands back in towards the sides of our body. They're going to walk all the way down near that breastbone. You're looking for upward facing dog positioning with the hands. So those hands are further down the body, elbows in straight lines back behind us. And we're going to push up to upward dog. So knees can stay on the ground. See if you can allow the heart to pull through the middle without losing your low back. And then just start to easy glance over the sides of your body. Now you might even roll. Something that feels really nice to me is as I look over this right shoulder, my left hip drops down towards the earth. It's a big stretch for my hip flexor and the edges of your low back. Now if this feels too big, you can certainly take this down to a cobra and just gently gaze over your shoulders there. Perfect. Take your time, softening those elbows once you're back to center. Lower down, belly to the mat. Take the hands back forward, make that pillow, bend the knees, rock the feet side to side, release any tension hiding in that low back. It might feel nice for a quad stretch here since you're already on your belly. Right leg may stay bent while your left leg goes long as a stabilizer on the earth. Right hand might reach back and make connection with the top of the foot, hugging that heel in towards your glute. And then we'll switch sides. Starting to release that right foot, sweep around, left foot bends. Maybe you make connection with the foot or the ankle and you're grabbing onto the pant leg. Or you can just have that knee bent with the arm just gently reaching back in that general direction. It doesn't always have to make contact. Sometimes that's too much for us. It just doesn't sit well in our own bodies. And that's never what we want for ourselves, right? We want things to feel good, want them to feel natural, like they make sense. So if something ever causes pain or just feels entirely too awkward, just might not be the right day for us, and that's okay. Doesn't mean the pose will never feel good, it just means that where we are in this present moment is just not ready for that space. If you've been holding heel towards glute, let's go ahead and release that. Take the arms around, let them move towards the outer edges of the armpits, of the heart. Toes curled under. Work your way up to knees and then child's pose. Any final release for that low back, let it happen here. Maybe your knees go wide on the mat with big toes touching. You can, of course, always reach for a block if that would feel good underneath the forehead, resting into that child's pose, fully surrendering the belly down towards the earth. Starting to move from this child's pose shape to your seat. Take your time. Chest will start to come up off the earth. Feet will sweep off to one side or the other as we start to move to about the middle of our mats and a seated posture. You can be crisscross or bound angle. And just do a little assessment of your neck. Feeding in a little bit of freedom here as it moves from side to side or up and down, working out any hidden tensions hiding in there. And then as you feel ready, we'll start to invite these knees back up to center. And transition yourself onto your back. Looking around for any props you'd like to take with you as you start to head into a more restful state. It might make sense to line the blocks up so that they position themselves right beneath the bends of your knees. Maybe you bring a blanket to put beneath your head or rolled up the mat, up your spine. And it's okay if as you first lay down, you think, I know what Savasana is, but I'm not quite ready yet. That's okay. Maybe your knees want to come into chest. Maybe you take a happy baby or a reclined twist. or you elevate the feet to the sky. We've done plenty of inverting today, but if you still feel like you just want to get your feet up in the air, that's welcome here too. Or if you just like a few extra minutes in Savasana, you're welcome to go ahead and invite in that final resting pose. Savasana's intention is to give us a safe space, a place where our body can feel at ease. The work is complete, the physical asana is over. The mind worrying about right and left and up and down and left, right, all those different directional cues that you hear in the practice, they can get quiet. We don't have to listen for that anymore. Now we are just present in our own physical bodies, with maybe the only task of following the breath. If the mind needs a little distraction, perhaps watching as the breath moves in and out of the body. Today, if you'd like a cued breath, we're going to try compass breathing. So compass breathing is very similar to what it sounds, thinking about your cardinal directions on a compass. North and south, east and west. So as you rest here on your belly, perhaps you lay your hands, or on your back rather, you lay your hands on your belly. And you feel the breath as it travels in and out of your body. It's on a journey. Each breath you take, you'll feel your belly expand. That's the east-west direction. As you exhale and those hands drop down towards earth, you'll feel your spine lengthen. That's your north-south. So envisioning that compass, envisioning the east-west expansion of the inhale and the northwest length on the exhale. Staying in that space, allowing the body to feel at ease as we gently start to relax into the earth. Letting the movements become stillness. Letting the breath become easy, unforced. As you allow your body to slowly move in to that state of rest, time of peace, where everything sifts and settles back into place. Slowly starting to bring little movements back into the body. Wiggling the fingers or wiggling the toes. Head may sway easy side to side, or knees may begin to bend and move themselves back a little closer. We'll take our time to start to close out practice with any other final postures that make sense as you rest here on your back. Maybe hug knees to chest or rock around, ultimately ending up perhaps in a side lying pose. Maybe pulling knees in close. Before ultimately pushing into the floor and meeting me back in a seat. Today's class will close very similar to how it opened, just with us making connection with our breath. Hands maybe palm to palm, resting at the heart with a nice tall spine. When you are following your energy and doing what you want, the distinction between work and play dissolves. It's up to me to make my work satisfying. If I think it's impossible, what do I need to do to find work that will mean more to me? Work and play. I greatly appreciate you taking this time to come practice yoga with us today. To not only put in the work, but allow yourself a little chance to play. To feel free within your own physical body and capable of moving in ways that we don't ordinarily do in our everyday life. Thank you again for joining me. It's been wonderful to practice alongside you. Namaste.
Namaste.